Hi there guys, and welcome back to Not Quite Mint, and this is going to be a video for this week's top key comic releases for the 15th of January. So if you're new to the channel and you like this kind of content, you want to see what keys we recommend every week, make sure you give us obviously the thumbs up down below, and obviously most importantly subscribe to the channel. We bring these videos out as often as we can on every Tuesday, but also make sure that you do comment down below and let us know what you're going to be reading this week, because it's always interesting to know what you guys are interested as well. And have you guys seen that Morbius trailer? Really interesting discussions going on the internet. Let us know again what you think about that. Also in this video we will be letting you know at the end of the video which books we've selected to do our reviews on Thursday's video. Tom's going to be back in that video as well, so it won't just be me sat on my own just talking to a camera. So make sure that you do obviously come back on Thursday to welcome back Tom and see obviously how that all goes.
This is the future.
Right then guys, as I did mention, we are obviously going to be choosing this week's top key comics in this video. I believe we've selected, I think, 11 books, and of those 11 we're going to be reviewing 5 of them on Thursday when we've had a chance to read them when they come out on Wednesday, which is obviously going to be the 15th of January. Good news as well is that this will be the last video on my own. Tom's back. We're going to be obviously kicking it back up with obviously me and Tom being actually in the videos and obviously talking a little bit more about stuff, so that hopefully will be a bit more interesting for you guys. It'll be more interesting for me anyway. As I say, 11 books. Let's not mess about. Let's get into looking at what we've got. So first book that I want to talk to you about is going to be should have popped up on screen now, and it is Avengers 29. Now there's a couple of things that have came out with this. I believe this is the end of the Starbrand arc. I've heard a couple of people say that, although I'm not sure. It's not a book that I've been reading, but I do know that I believe that War Widow is going to be appearing in this, so it's going to be the first full appearance of War Widow. So if you're an Avengers fan, definitely a good one to get. There's also the potential, because they've been banging on about who is the new Starbrand, maybe that's going to be revealed as well. There's a strong possibility that might happen. Looks interesting. Obviously it's been written by Jason Aaron with art, I think, by Ed McGuinness. Very lovely artwork in the book, but we'll obviously see in the future what we get, and hopefully we do get a couple of decent reveals in that book, because everything's pointing to that, so that's why we picked that one. Next up it's another one of these The End books, guys. Now last week we reviewed the Miles Morales The End, and if you watched this video last week, you'll have seen I was quite excited about that. I was kind of let down, even though I knew how it was going to kind of turn out. I was still a little bit deflated by it, and that was a bit weird. This week we've got Venom The End. Again, going to be an interesting one to see. It's apparently set like 1 trillion years in the future or something like that, which just sounds mega trippy to me if you're asking my opinion. But I think because it's Venom, me and Tom have been talking backwards and forwards, and because it is Venom and it is, you know, bringing his arc to an end in a sort of a what if kind of style, we both agreed that we wanted to that we think that this might be quite a cool book if it's written well. So we've highlighted that for you guys on this list. Next up is a bit of a peculiar one. Now the last couple of weeks, as you know, we have read the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers crossover. Tom's a big fan of the Turtles comics, and also we've never read the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers things, but they're produced obviously by IDW. This week IDW have got a brand new run coming out of this book called Rising Sun. Not sure whether we're going to carry on reading it, but certainly this looks, on the face of it, really cool. It looks like it's kind of like samurai warriors going out and defending I think, you know, sort of like feudal Japan against monsters and dragons, which that's how it's written up. So that's kind of, it sounds a bit bonkers really, but the artwork looks really cool. So I'm sort of really excited to actually have a look at that. So hence why we've put that on there. It's number 1 as well, so definitely worth a look. Next up, what have we got? Oh right, okay, this is a bit of an odd one. Again, another one from IDW. Now I have not ever read the ROM books or the ROM comics or the ROM comics. I believe it's to do with an alien. Now my dad used to be really into the Space Odyssey films, and you know, like Killer Robots and all that kind of stuff from I think the late 70s. And when I read this, because it's to do with the moon mission, and some of the characters in there are like Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, it just, I don't know, it just made me, it invoked a bit of nostalgia for me. I believe it's a bit of a return for ROM as well, and this is to do with the WRAITHS, so could be quite a good book. They're obviously going to see how popular this is, and hopefully, you know, we might have some more of the ROM books. But yeah, I just thought it sounded interesting with all the interesting space and all that kind of stuff. A bit of nostalgia for sort of like old school comic collectors. I think that being a number 1 as well in a return for ROM might be quite a good one to pick up. As I say, maybe it's a bit of an investment as well. Next up, we've got this Legion of Superheroes from DC. What do I think about this one? Now, this one, from what I am led to believe, if I just look at my notes, the key aspect of this is that it's going to be an appearance of Planet Gotham. As I say, I haven't read the comic book, but there's a couple of people thinking that that's going to be quite cool. Written by obviously Brian Michael Bendis. And Ryan Sooks doing the artwork, but yeah, the whole Planet Gotham thing sounds quite interesting. Not sure how that's going to pan out, but obviously on that fact it's a bit of a key. Next up we have got this Black Widow Prelude. This one, again, if you're into the MCU, if you watch these videos and you've landed here because you're kind of not really like full blood comics, because there's so much to get your head around if you haven't obviously read back issues, and there's a lot of history, this might be a good comic book for you to pick up. And also if you are just like obviously like me, you know, read comics but obviously love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this is it's Black Widow number 1. Basically it's two books that are going to run into I think the May release of the Black Widow film. We've had a new trailer drop I think in the last couple of days as well, so everything, the hype's really heating up about this one. So again, could be a good book MCU to get hold of. Black Widow. So again, a couple of like interesting factors there that might make that quite a popular book. Hopefully it is well written. And next up, this is probably like the biggest release this week. It's Iron Man 2020. I believe it's part of a 5 or a 6 book sort of mini-series run. Some nice covers out there, quite a few variant covers. It is probably like the sort of marquee release for Marvel. Not too sure. I've heard mixed reviews. I've never read the books by this particular writer, and yeah, it's Dan Slott. So for me that's intriguing, because it's something like, again, I might really like his style, but again, he sounds like, you know, the fans are quite divided on it. But yeah, it hasn't really generated the buzz that you'd normally expect with a marquee kind of release like this. And obviously it pangs on like I think it was Machine Man and Iron Man going back in the day, you know, like there was a whole thing around that as well. So it's sort of, there's a bit of nostalgia around this, quite a bit of interest. So let's hope it is a good one. But yeah, as I say, quite a few variant covers to, you know, that if you've got a particular artist, it might be worthwhile picking up that variant cover, maybe. Next up, we've got the Jane Foster Valkyrie book. Now, the reason why we've put this in there is that it's going to be one of the first times that there's been a team up of certain groups within the book. So again, just stands out. Also, you've got the cover that's up on there is Marvel X variant cover. quite a cool cover. And again, it's written by Jason Aaron, Al Ewing, and art by Perry Perez. I'm not sure who that artist, the cover artist, is though. Next up is this Teen Titans. It is number 38. Now, number 38. Last episode, the last issue, I believe it was there's this bad guy, the villain, the other, and in this one, basically his identity is going to be revealed, and it relates to one of the characters, Damien, who's somebody apparently quite close to Damien. I don't read the book again. I don't know who Damien is, but for fans of Teen Titans, I used to read Teen Titans back in like the early 2000s when there was the run that was going on back then, and yeah, it might be quite an interesting one just to see who the other is and how that affects obviously the team and the dynamics in that one. This is one that me and Tom have sort of... we're both J. Scott Campbell fans, we're both Spider-Man fans, and we like obviously the crossovers too. We like the current Black Cat comics. There's this obviously J. Scott Campbell variant cover available, which is the one that I'll probably look to try and pick up on Wednesday. This one's a bit of a weird one for me though, because it's the start of a 5-part run. Basically based within the Marvel Gamerverse. I haven't got a PlayStation. I've got an Xbox. So Tom plays the games, but I'm not sure how it crosses over into the comic book or whatever. But again, it's a number one. Some nice variant covers on this one again into the Gamerverse. So there's going to be interest from obviously people who do play the games and things like that. So again, key sort of factor with that one. Next up, we've got, I think, our final book. This is Spawn 304. In this, we've got, obviously, the fact that there's going to be a new villain is being teased with us. And also, like, we've got some really nice covers there, with, obviously, the Todd McFarlane cover that you can see just up on the screen there. I think there's a really nice... I think the standard covers a Francesco Mattina as well, which I think, actually, I might have a picture of that, which is that one. Yes, I have indeed. Yes, this is our last book. And yeah, it's one of those ones where, yeah, new villain in Spawn. It's obviously early days on that. I think like the new run and things like that. Tom reads the Spawn comics, was a really big fan, so it's going to be interesting to see how this one does go. But that's pretty much it, guys. So I think that was 11 books in total. The ones that we're going to be reading, I believe, on Thursday, we're going to be doing the review of Spawn, Iron Man 2020, Teen Titans 38, Spider-Man Black Cat, and also Venom The End, and potentially Rising Sun as well. I think we're doing 6 on Thursday. But all being well, we will manage to do that. So those are our top key comics for you this week, as well as our top picks that we're going to be reading obviously for the review. Again, guys, please do drop us a subscription down below if you want to see more of our videos. Give us a thumbs up, and obviously let us know what you thought about the Morbius comic, the Morbius trailer, as well as obviously what comics you're actually going to be reading this week. Take care, guys. Looking forward to having Tom back, and in that vein, we'll see ya.